The bitter taste of sweet success. The fluorescent lights of the downtown Chicago office pulsed with a dull hum, mirroring the exhaustion in my bones. It was another late night, another team-building dinner that bled into a drunken game of truth or dare. My intern, a fresh-faced kid named Kevin, blurted out that he'd been on a date with the company's new receptionist. My girlfriend. That night, a woman named Ivy, with her dark silk dress and a laugh like spilled fruit punch, ignited a spark in my burnt-out heart. She didn't just change my life, she detonated it. It wasn't just lust, it was a connection of shared struggle. 300 days adrift in this city, and I'd finally taken a company account from 0 to 1 million followers. I was ready to roll up my sleeves and launch an even bigger campaign. I walked into my boss's office, pitch deck in hand, but before I could open my mouth, he was polishing a golf club with a SIM logo etched on it. "Listen, kid," he said, "I'm moving this account to New York." The rest of his words blurred. All I saw was his chapped lips flapping. Basically, I had two options. Go to New York and keep the account, a suicide mission, as the New York team would take over and I'd be out of a job, or stay in Chicago and start from scratch in a new department. He took a sip of tea. "Think about it." I smiled and nodded. "Got it." A skyscraper rises from the ground, but the weight of the world still rests on my shoulders. I grabbed my laptop and headed to the convenience store downstairs for a pack of cigarettes. Sitting on the curb, puffing away, I missed my old friends. I called my buddy, Alex, who was somewhere in the Golden Triangle. "Man, I just want to find a $2,000 a night kind of love." Alex was panting. "Give me an hour, I'll call you back." Some friends, right? I hung up, deciding to finish my cigarette and head home. My office was near the bustling Loop subway station. I rented a tiny, 300-square-foot studio in Lincoln Park for $800 a month. I walked through the park every day to work, dodging dog poop left by the locals. Just as I was about to stub out my cigarette and leave, I heard a thwack. My eyes landed on a pair of beautiful black high heels, slender ankles, and calves encased in dark stockings. Her body heat seemed to radiate, a warmth spreading from my eyes to my face. As my gaze reached her knees, she quickly crouched down. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't see your phone on the ground." That's when I finally saw her face. Small lips, a cute nose, an oval face, glasses, and a messy bun. Not a breathtaking beauty, but fresh and pleasant. Her clothes and face felt vaguely familiar. I shook my head. "It's fine. Who puts their phone on the ground anyway?" Later, she asked if I was fishing for girls that day. I told her no, I was just smoking on the curb, and my phone wouldn't fit in my pocket. "It was fate," I said. "How much was your phone?" she asked. $500. "Can I pay you in installments?" My stomach rumbled. She asked, "You haven't had dinner, have you? Working late?" "Yeah, forgot to eat." "Me too. Let's eat and talk." She led me to a small alleyway, to a greasy spoon serving spicy hot pot. Chicagoans called it a dive. Tables circled a steaming pot, and the owner kept adding vegetables and skewers. Customers grabbed a bowl of sesame paste and picked whatever they wanted from the pot. You paid by the skewer. This was the late-night diner for the working class. We each grabbed a beer and talked. Her name was Ivy Jing, from Texas, new to Chicago. She worked as a waitress at a nearby Chinese restaurant. Today, she dealt with some idiotic customers who complained her kanji wasn't authentic and refused to pay. That's when I remembered the Chinese restaurant near my office. Their specialties were clay pot kanji and stir-fried water spinach with fermented bean curd. The restaurant had a decent ambience, so I often took clients to their private rooms. I complained to her about my year of hard work on that account, and how my stupid boss wanted me to hand it over. Now, I had no idea what to do. Two lost souls in Chicago, defeated and dim under the flickering lights of the dive, healing each other's bitterness with their own struggles. I agreed to her installment plan for the phone. We exchanged numbers, agreeing on $100 a month for 5 months. Before we parted, she went into the convenience store and bought 2 big fruit jellies, handing me one. "When I'm sad, I eat fruit jelly," she said. "Does it make you happy?" I asked. She laughed. No, but the pain of being poor outweighs the sadness. I get it, I said. I used to eat Häagen-Dazs when I was sad, but now I can only afford fruit jelly. So, I need to make a lot of money to even deserve to be sad. That was probably the truest thing she said. The next day, I went to work as usual. My boss was on the phone in his office, legs crossed. I, with my dark circles, sipped my iced Americano, wondering what to choose. I complained to Ivy on text. I feel like a sacrificial lamb. She chuckled. Do you want to be killed with one swift blow, or slowly electrocuted with 10 watts after a sedative? Ivy, I typed, please focus on your friend who's been sentenced to death. If you're sentenced to death, why don't you try for a pardon? She replied. I slammed my keyboard. Damn it, Master Ivy. I get it. Ivy, I can buy myself more time. If I can land a project in Chicago within a month, I won't be transferred to New York. I stood outside my boss's office and knocked 3 times. Boss, which one? My boss chose to transfer me with the project to New York. However, I said, I want to use this month to see the account's earning potential, and there are still some operational details to improve. No problem, he said. You're always thorough. I'll let New York know. Thanks, I said. Back at my desk, I texted Ivy, sentence commuted to probation. Ivy replied, congratulations. How will you reward your master? Dinner tonight, I said. That's a reward for you, isn't it? She replied. Then I'll buy you fruit jelly after dinner. I want Häagen-Dazs, she said. That night, we met at the dive. Ivy held up her beer bottle and told me vivid stories from the restaurant. After dinner, I took her to get Häagen-Dazs. This sweetness is the only thing that can fill the void, she said. I feel like this sweetness is just like fruit jelly, I said. That's because you can afford both, she replied. I can only afford fruit jelly. It sounds so bitter. After that night, Ivy and I grew closer. I'd send her pictures of the cats in the park near my apartment, telling her their nicknames. She'd live-stream her restaurant dramas. The owner fighting his mistress, the manager conspiring with a waitress. Most of the time, we were each other's emotional trash cans. Chicago has over 20 million residents, but no one is willing to stop and listen. The Loop subway station is bustling, everyone has headphones in. Don't get close to living people, don't bother with noise. Human pain might not get a response, but it needs to be heard. Sometimes, Ivy and I would both be upset, and we'd just vent, completely ignoring each other's words. With only a month to find a project in Chicago, my editors and I tirelessly searched for connections. With only 10 days left until the deadline, there was no hope. For some reason, due to long nights and overtime, my stomach started acting up. Not just intermittent pain, but a constant bitter taste in my mouth. Everything tasted bitter. I bought a tub of Häagen-Dazs, still bitter. I went to the hospital. The doctor said I needed an endoscopy to know the specific condition. There were 2 types, regular and painless. The painless one required anesthesia and a family member to be present. I've always been afraid of pain, so I chose painless. I called Ivy. The day after tomorrow, I need an endoscopy with anesthesia. I need a family member there. Without hesitation, Ivy said, okay, I'll go with you. The Chicago project still hadn't made any progress. I was frank with my editors. We have less than 10 days. If things don't improve, it's New York or a new position. Pick one. 2 days later, Ivy and I went to the hospital. The doctor asked Ivy about her relationship with me. I was about to say sister, but Ivy quickly interjected, girlfriend. After the endoscopy, the doctor said there were no major issues, but I needed to eat 3 meals a day on time, drink less soda, and I'd be fine. Leaving the hospital, I told Ivy, probation is almost over. 8 days left. If nothing changes, I'm going to New York. Ivy said, you give up so fast? Want me to give you some motivation? What motivation? I asked. Ivy replied, if you can keep this account in Chicago, I'll be your girlfriend. 8 days later, Ivy and I were living together. The phone debt was, of course, paid off. I successfully kept the account in Chicago, still working with the original team. However, it wasn't due to my ability, but luck. Ivy, I said, I found a partner in Chicago. No, she replied. The New York manager dug his own grave. He posted an article that was plagiarized word for word and got sued. It was a sponsored ad, so now he's facing a huge lawsuit. He got fired. New York is in chaos. The boss said to let things settle down there and not send any new work over for now. Ivy nodded, half understanding. Well, you have to be careful not to make the same mistake. After living with Ivy, the bitter taste in my mouth disappeared. Every morning, there were boiled eggs and toast. Our cramped 300-square-foot rental was tidy and clean. Aside from worrying about loud noises disturbing the neighbors at night, I was very happy. Ivy was a catalyst in my life. Not long after, the account I managed landed a brand planning campaign for a Fortune 500 company. We became famous for this event, signing a contract with a top MCN company. From then on, we had continuous business projects. The department expanded from 3 to 8 people. Salaries naturally increased. My boss valued me more and more. 2 months later, we moved to a bigger apartment with our own bathroom and kitchen. More importantly, I could be as loud as I wanted without fear of disturbing anyone. After living with Ivy, I realized how exhausting working in a Chinese restaurant was. Long hours, low pay, and constantly dealing with difficult customers. Her hands often had scars from hot kanji pots. She'd often say, "Tomorrow, I'm quitting." I always kept an eye out for suitable positions for her at the company. Just then, the company receptionist got pregnant. I introduced Ivy to HR. After Ivy's interview, HR texted me, "Very suitable." I knew my recommendation played a part, but no matter what, Ivy finally had a lighter, more respectable job. The company had strict rules against office romance, so Ivy and I agreed to keep our distance at work. No communication unless necessary. From then on, our work and rest schedules aligned. Even if I occasionally worked late, she'd bring me food and quietly sit at the reception desk. Then, 20 minutes before I left, she'd head home to prepare fruit. On weekends, we explored every corner of Chicago, from the Art Institute to Millennium Park. Ivy used her ID to open a bank account, creating 2 cards, a main and a secondary. We each kept one, transferring 20% of our salaries into it each month for our wedding fund. Work in my department was going smoothly. An editor named Alex, a native Chicagoan from a well-off family, had matured quickly and shared a lot of my workload. He wasn't lazy or stubborn like some locals. His writing was fresh, humorous, positive, and easy to understand. My career and love life were both progressing well. I felt like I was getting closer to the life I wanted. For Thanksgiving, I took Ivy back to my hometown. My mom invited relatives and set up 2 large tables. Ivy was busy in the kitchen, chopping vegetables and carrying dishes. My relatives all gave her a thumbs up, praising her as capable and well-behaved. That night, my mom came into my room with a mysterious red box. She took out a thick red envelope from her purse and put it in Ivy's hand. "Granddaughter, this is our tradition here." Before Ivy could refuse, my mom opened the box and took out a clear jade bracelet, putting it on Ivy's wrist. "Look, honey, it fits perfectly. This bracelet was given to me by your grandmother when I got married. Now I'm passing it on to your girlfriend. The fact that it fits perfectly means you two are meant to be." On the way back to Chicago from my hometown, I fantasized about our life after marriage. But I never imagined the surprise would be so disgusting and filthy. After the Thanksgiving break, back in Chicago, Ivy seemed like a different person. She'd come home at 1 or 2 a.m. Sometimes, when I asked, she'd say she was out with colleagues. Her job as a receptionist meant she had to have good relationships with everyone so they wouldn't make things difficult or look down on her. I couldn't really argue. Every time I was woken up in the middle of the night, I'd ask myself if I really wanted to marry this girl. Luckily, the rapid development of my work consumed all my time and energy. Every day, I worked overtime, revising drafts, pretending everything was normal. I was like an ostrich burying its head in the sand during a sandstorm. But a game at a party made me unable to be blind anymore. After finishing a huge $600,000 project, I invited everyone in the department to a live house for drinks and a game of truth or dare. Alex spun the bottle first, and it landed on me. Alex smirked. "Hey, man, you got a side chick?" I answered decisively, "No." Everyone was stunned. "No way. Really? Really? You?" Alex casually said, "Yeah, it's Ivy, our receptionist." The scene before me dissolved into basin-sized spots of light. The world seemed to be glitching, even my hearing started to buzz. I could only vaguely hear Alex's voice, her moans. She changed positions several times a night, her technique. I don't know what else they said. I kept drinking alone. Someone stopped me, someone snatched my glass, so I grabbed the bottle and drank straight from it. My last memory was Alex asking where I lived. I told him, "Just take me back to the office. I'll sleep on the couch." The next morning, I woke up on the office couch. Alex was sitting next to me. Hearing me stir, he stood up and poured me a glass of water. He looked helpless. "Man, last night I asked where you lived, but you insisted on going to the office. You were so drunk, I didn't feel comfortable leaving you, so I stayed here with you." I looked at him, at the junior I'd considered my protégé, at the man who'd slept with my girlfriend. I didn't know how to be angry. I took a sip of water. "Take the day off. Go rest." I opened my phone and saw Ivy's text from 3 a.m, "Still at the office, haha." Last night, who knows who she was fighting with until 3 a.m. At work, Ivy looked at me from the reception desk. A moment later, I got a text, "Why didn't you reply last night? Every day you don't come home, it's fine. One day I don't, and it's a problem." A long time later, Ivy replied, "It's fine. I'll be home right after work tonight. I have something to tell you." That night, I laid it all out for Ivy. "You had a thing with Alex, didn't you?" Ivy replied, "Yes." "Who else?" Ivy, "No one." "Who else?" Ivy, "I said no one. 1 or 10 people, it makes no difference." Ivy sat calmly on the bed, playing with her phone. I lunged at her like a mad dog, pinning her to the bed. She struggled. Just as my lips touched hers, I stopped. I rushed to the toilet and vomited. I'd drunk too much last night, eaten nothing all day. My stomach felt like a blender. Ivy helped me wash my face, helped me to bed, and cooked a bowl of kanji. I held her hand. "Can we go back to how we were?" Ivy nodded, tears in her eyes. She didn't even beg, didn't say she was wrong, but I forgave her. I comforted myself. She hadn't been exposed to this kind of social circle before, so it felt new to her. After that, Ivy changed a lot. She came home right after work. No more gatherings. She planted many green plants on the windowsill. I no longer worried about being woken up in the middle of the night. I woke up to steaming breakfast. I started looking at wedding dresses again. Everything seemed to go back to how it was, but everything also felt too perfect, too fake. After settling things with Ivy, I immediately started on a big project. A famous liquor brand needed to collaborate with a public account to organize a cultural event at a major exhibition hall. The budget was generous, the profit margin high. It would also significantly improve our brand value in the future. After several rounds of competition, we finally beat our biggest rival, Zenith, to win the collaboration. The event went smoothly. The final task was to write an article about daughters giving liquor to their fathers. Near the end of the year, I decided to do a UGC, user-generated content, campaign. The theme was daughters' love for their fathers, mostly centered around liquor. We invited our followers to share interesting, heartwarming stories about giving liquor to their fathers. Ivy saw me writing this draft and insisted I interview her. Soon after, she sent me a snippet. "When I was in kindergarten, I saw my dad sweating every day. I always wanted to do something for him. Every night, my dad drank. One day, I saw the bottle of white liquor on the table was empty. So, I used my allowance to go to the supermarket and buy a bottle of white liquor. At dinner, my dad picked up the bottle to pour, saw it was empty, and looked disappointed. I triumphantly took a bottle of white liquor from my room and gave it to him. My dad took the bottle, stunned, and poured half a glass. He frowned and said, "Good liquor," while patting my head and praising me. Good girl. When I was in second grade, I remembered that what I bought wasn't liquor, but white vinegar. This passage was authentic, surprising, and touching. I immediately decided to use it. Ivy even specifically told me, "Give me a back door, okay? Make sure to use this article. I want my dad to see me write about him." I immediately agreed. We collected hundreds of stories, choosing 20 to make into a post. The results were excellent. Readership quickly surpassed 100,000. The company and the liquor producer were very satisfied. I thought the project would end successfully. The department even held a celebration party, waiting for the final payment. Unexpectedly, 2 hours later, the support team discovered the article was accused of plagiarism and had been removed from the platform. The company was in chaos. As the main writer of the article, there was no doubt I was the biggest culprit. The company looked closer. The accuser was our arch-rival, Zenith. I immediately called a meeting with the editors to find out which content had problems. Finally, we discovered it was Ivy's passage. The passage she wrote had been posted by Zenith 2 months ago, and Ivy's passage hadn't changed a single punctuation mark. Since the relationship between the two companies was already tense, Zenith immediately blew the matter up. Everyone online was cursing me and our account. "If you don't have ideas, don't write." Stealing from others and blaming fans. So good. I knew there was no denying it this time. I apologized to the liquor producer, offering to compensate them with 2 promotional articles. I told my boss I was willing to take full responsibility. I remembered the fate of that New York boss, fired immediately, never to work in the industry again. This was equivalent to a death sentence in the industry. When I got home, Ivy innocently asked, "Want some jelly?" I didn't know if she was truly ignorant or truly evil. I asked, "The passage you gave me, was it copied from Zenith?" She replied, "Yes. What's wrong? You pretended to be a virtuous wife and mother for this day, didn't you? Just as you wished, I'll soon be banned from the industry and leave Chicago." She widened her eyes. "Why? What happened?" "I really don't know." I laughed coldly. How the New York manager got fired. How serious plagiarism is. I told you myself. Now you're using it against me. Because of your passage, I was accused of plagiarism by our rival. Ivy cried. "I'm sorry. I thought my childhood story was very similar to that, but I thought they wrote it well, so I just took it. I really wanted my dad to see me write about him." I said nothing more. I believed her because I was tired, too exhausted to suspect, too exhausted to argue. I handled all the subsequent work and resigned from the company. My boss told me that since I hadn't thoroughly reviewed the followers' content and hadn't intentionally plagiarized, they wouldn't announce it to the industry, leaving me a way out. After losing my job, I started trying to write novels. My lease was up in a month. If it didn't work out, I'd go back home. While researching for my novel, I found a website hosting a writing competition with a decent prize. $20,000 for first place, $10,000 for second, $5,000 for third. I decided to spend a month writing a novel for the competition, practicing my writing skills, and seeing if I could earn some living expenses. I gave Ivy a month to find her own place. Living together after breaking up was torture. I had to sleep on the living room couch. Ivy became even more reckless, often coming home after midnight, sometimes not at all. One day, while tidying up the cosmetics on her desk, she saw my computer screen. She asked, "Are you going to participate in a novel writing contest?" "Yeah." "Can I read your story?" "No. Don't misunderstand. I just want to see if there's any trace of me in it." I softened again. Even after several hurts, I knew her malice, but I couldn't forget the colorful world she brought into my life when we first met. "I'll show you the first draft when I finish it." After actually starting to write a novel, I realized writing wasn't hard, but the ending was incredibly difficult. I wrote 5 versions of the ending but still wasn't satisfied. The night before Ivy moved out, I sent her the first draft. I politely said, "By the way, feel free to offer suggestions for revision." She asked, "Am I the first one to read it? Who else did you send it to?" "An old reader, a high school classmate, and 2 friends." She said, Okay. She sat on the chair and read it, then said, "I like the last line of the story. My dear, I hope we never meet again." "Those are the words I want to say to you," I said. She replied, "I hope we never meet again." I saw the car that came to pick up her luggage was Alex's. I opened my laptop and updated my personal account status, which had been gathering dust for half a year. This was my most miserable winter. Lost my job, lost my love, lost myself. I named that novel Goodbye, revised it 3 times, and sent it. After sending the draft, I sent my belongings back to my hometown in Georgia and rented a small room in a small town. My phone didn't ring, no messages. I decided to rest for a few months. I wanted to be like a computer, shut down and restarted, clearing out the trash, forgetting Ivy, forgetting Chicago. Ivy and Alex's social circles became increasingly synchronized. First, they posted from the same location, then pictures of the same scenery, and finally, pictures together. I knew the so-called no-office romance rule only applied to people like me, drifters in Chicago who couldn't survive without a job. I lay lifeless in Georgia for a month, finally receiving good news. The website staff contacted me. My novel won 3rd place, a $5,000 prize. The public announcement would be in a month. Unless there were special circumstances, I'd receive the prize money next month. I posted the news of winning the award on my social media. Ivy liked it. 2 days later, the website staff called me. "Hello, your work, Goodbye, has been accused of plagiarism. The competition judges will review and discuss the manuscript again. If plagiarism is confirmed, the award will be revoked." This was my work. On my computer, I had the outline, character bias, and 5 revised endings. I explained to the staff. They said the judges would make a fair decision based on the accuser's material and told me to wait for the announcement. This left me completely hopeless. I started having insomnia, and my stomach pain returned. I packed my bags, deciding to go back home. As soon as I entered the house, my mom shouted, "Why are you back? Isn't Ivy busy at the shop?" I was confused. What Ivy? What shop? After asking around, I found out that not long after I left Chicago, Ivy told my mom that we wanted to open a small restaurant in Chicago and asked my mom for $5,000. My mom tried to call me, but I didn't answer. Ivy said my project was busy and that it was fine to just tell her. When my mom went to the bank to transfer the money, the bank teller even reminded her to be careful with large transfers and kept asking, "Are you transferring to Ivy?" My mom said, "Yes, that's my daughter-in-law." Just as I finished talking to my mom, the website staff sent a message, "Hello, your work, Goodbye, has been confirmed as plagiarized. The platform has decided to revoke your award qualification and publicly announce this misconduct. The announcement will be made in 3 days." I replied, "Hello, could you please send me the plagiarism accusation material?" The staff sent me a link posted 5 days before I submitted my manuscript. "This author accused you of plagiarism. Your work is almost identical to this article, except for the ending and a few other details." I clicked on the post. The ending was, "My dear, I hope we never meet again." I laughed. Of course, it was almost identical, because the post was my first draft. I went to the website to see the official announcement, but I saw I had plus 99 messages. I clicked. All were vulgar curses. Even without an official announcement that my work was disqualified due to plagiarism, why did so many people know? A highly rated post with the ID "Punish Plagiarism" confirmed I had plagiarized after comparing the content and posting time. It was Ivy again. At that moment, I suddenly understood a lot of things. Ivy and I weren't destined lovers, but a long-planned conspiracy. I could tolerate her recklessness and deception. I could forgive her cheating on me. But ruining my work and deceiving my parents crossed my line. My past kindness and generosity were because I thought we once loved each other. Now, I didn't need to be merciful. I called Ivy. I've left Chicago. What good does it do you to push me like this? Ivy continued to act. Hey, I'm at work. How am I pushing you? Didn't you accuse me of plagiarism? Didn't you scam my mom out of money? Ivy, your mom's money, I borrowed it. I'll pay it back when I have money. As for the plagiarism, I don't know anything about it. You're still pretending. The content of the plagiarism accusation post was the draft I sent you. Ivy, you sent that draft to 5 people. Who knows who harmed you? Please, stop acting, I said. Ivy, in your eyes, am I that kind of person? When I was with you, I interrupted her. I sent that draft to 5 people, true, but the draft I wrote with 5 endings, only the one I sent you had the ending "My dear, I hope we never meet again." Ivy was silent. Ivy, what if it was me? Do you have any way to prove it? Your award qualification was revoked. That $5,000 prize should belong to me. I didn't fight back, not because I couldn't, but because I'm kinder than you. Now, she had exhausted all the goodwill I had for her. I logged onto the website and wrote a clarifying post. I had to say, Ivy was meticulous when it came to harming people. The link to the post was at 6:32 a.m., one day after she received my first draft. I could imagine her at Alex's place, reorganizing things all night, not even stopping for breakfast, just to post my draft online. But she didn't know that the night she moved out of my rental, out of sadness, I posted an update on my personal account, which hadn't been updated in half a year. The time I posted was 8 hours earlier than hers. I sent the link to the website staff and wrote an explanation. Everyone was very interested in the story of the ex-girlfriend who repaid kindness with malice and stole this work. It quickly topped the website search list. Some even started calling for updates. After the judges reviewed, my work retained its original ranking. Ivy's account was banned. However, this wasn't enough. Ivy was still living in Chicago with her Chicago native boyfriend. I remembered the first time we met, her theory about fruit jelly and Häagen-Dazs. Before, I was Häagen-Dazs to her, but when Alex appeared, I became fruit jelly. When she could have Häagen-Dazs, she would never choose fruit jelly. I thought she wouldn't stop at Alex. She had scammed my mom out of $5,000, then tried to take my $5,000 prize money. Suddenly needing so much money surely had a reason. The most logical explanation was that she had a higher goal, requiring more investment. A plan to borrow a knife to kill formed in my mind. The first step was to find Ivy's next target. I searched for her on various social media platforms using her phone number. Her recent social media feed had no clues, just showing off her relationship with Alex. Her Weibo reposted aesthetic articles. Her video platform was full of selfies. Finally, I waited for a picture on her Weibo. She was taking a selfie on a golf course. The brand of the golf club was intentionally revealed in the top right corner. Sim. This was my boss's favorite golf club brand. A golf club like that cost at least $20,000. So, her ambition had reached this level. After identifying her next target, I didn't need to do anything myself. I called Alex. "Hey, Alex, how are things with you and Ivy?" Alex replied, "Thanks for asking, man. Ivy's great. I'm planning to introduce her to my parents soon." "That's good," I said. "Hey, man, why are you asking about Ivy and not me? Can't I care about my ex-girlfriend a little?" The other end of the line was silent for a long time. "Man, are you kidding?" "I'm not kidding. Ivy is my ex-girlfriend." "Alex, man, I'm really sorry, I didn't know." I told Alex everything. "Don't worry, I'm not bothering you. I'm here to help you." "Alex, you mean she's still seeing other guys?" "Precisely," I said. "She's climbing a ladder. You're just a stepping stone for her." "Alex, no wonder she's been acting a little strange lately." "Strange how?" I asked. Alex, after Ivy and I started dating, I quit my job at the company. Since then, I've been to the project desk nearby many times, but I never saw her at the reception desk. She said the boss asked her to work outside. I thought to myself, she wasn't lying. Playing golf with her was indeed working. Alex continued, she also asked to borrow $10,000 from me, saying she wanted to renovate her parents' house. You lent it to her. I'm planning to go home and get it in a few days, Alex said. Don't ever give her money. In the next few days, you should pay attention to her whereabouts and our old bosses. After saying that, I hung up. The rest was up to Alex. That night, Alex called me back. Man, she's not working at all. She's arm in arm with the boss.